Did you know that it was going to be on, like, national TV, 150 million households, that it was going to be all the airports? I mean, are you kind of surprised that it actually happened now?
I mean, I had an idea that it was going to be. I didn't realize how big it was going to be in general, but I mean, I had a feeling that it was going to be a big deal, most definitely. So
yeah. Well, what happened, just to let everybody know too, is that the deal was we were supposed to play each one of the shows 2 times, so 2 Saturdays in a month on CNBC, and that's where you're going in about 150 million households. Also, it's in all the airports. So it's funny because we were having people call me saying, "Oh my gosh, you guys are on the airports. It's real." So,
right.
yeah, that actually happened. But the thing is, last week we had a miscommunication with our broadcaster, and they played episode 2. So your episode, Melissa, is going to play again on the 7th, I believe. Okay.
Is it on CNBC?
CNBC, correct? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And now that episode is up on YouTube. So if anybody wants to see that, they can go to HDP Challenge, Hairdresser Power Challenge with an E.com, and they can subscribe. And every time there's a new episode, or if they just want to watch your episode, they can watch it on YouTube now. And that's worldwide.
Very cool.
Pretty cool. And not to mention the fact that, I don't know if we're going to send you some proofs pretty soon, Melissa, for your spot in the beauty book. And that beauty book is now going to be 200 pages. It's 200 pages. And it's going to all the top salons in the United States, the top 30,000 salons in the United States. We're going to give that book to them for free. And it's looking awesome.
That's cool. That's great.
Yeah, so I'm glad you were part of the very first. You're a pioneer. So I just want everybody to know that, hey, it took a lot of guts for you to come down here and, step up to the plate. And, honestly, that you could have won it all. I mean, in my opinion, I told you that. And that would have taken you all the way to the finals potentially. But unfortunately, we had some staining and things like that. But I just want to get into it and, you tell your side of the story. And I've got a few questions for you. So here we go. So what was your favorite part of the competition? Like the cut, the color, the makeup, the photo shoot? What did you enjoy most about the competition?
I mean, I think that the most thing that I enjoyed was probably seeing everybody having their own vision of what they wanted. It was a little tricky because there were no guidelines about what the judges wanted to see, as in, like, there was no theme. It was kind of like a free-for-all. So, whereas my model that I wanted to create was more along the mythical side, and then everybody else kind of had something that was more modernized in a way.
Sure, but the key, really, actually, you played it right. Literally, if you would look at the scoring from your episode, you actually won round 2 by a significant amount, because what you did, even though you had challenges, and that's what this is all about, even though you had challenges in the initial part, like they didn't see enough hair cut off, that. You had some staining issues, whatever. In round 2, you brought it back and came very close. And as a matter of fact, if you would have probably cut a little more hair off and, maybe base that color, because the color was very interesting and creative. It's just unfortunate that, you have those challenges, which in the first round you couldn't overcome in the second round, although you almost did. And that's what's so cool about the show, right? I don't know if you picked up on that.
I mean, no, it was definitely like an interesting thing, but it was just it was more so like we all got kind of thrown into something that we didn't realize what the judges wanted to see. I mean, but
here's the thing. That's great that you said that. They don't want to see anything. What they want to see is a transformation with great technique and a great before and after, and about your vision. And I think that's why you scored so well in the second round, because you did create your vision. It's amazing what you did. You should be very proud of it. So I don't want people to get the impression that the judges are looking for one particular thing. What they're looking for is you presenting your vision and then accomplishing it, and having really good technique along the way in 2.5 hours, which is, let's talk about the pressure, Melissa. How much pressure are you under in the show? Seriously.
I mean, I was fine at first, and then there was a few things that I ran into that created a very like a very, I don't want to say hostile, but like a hostile like working space, of course, because when you're under lights and cameras and things that you're normally not under, and you have people looking over your shoulder and constantly asking what you're doing, what are you mixing, what is your idea, and judging you based off of just how you do things. It's not the easiest. It's definitely a very difficult it's a difficult thing to do and to deal with.
Would you say that was the most stressful part for you? Was that the most stressful part for you?
No, there was like I said, I was fine up until probably right before round 2, and
Okay.
it was as soon as I saw the way her color came out, because the way her color came out was not what I originally had planned. I changed what I wanted to do out of randomness. Like my original plan was to not have her hair look like that. It was actually supposed to be silver with red tips. But for some reason, I got so into it that I was like, instead of planning or doing what I had planned originally, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go out of the box really quickly and just kind of go what I'm used to rather than having the plan, because her hair was supposed to be a lot more basic. But I got so wrapped up in it that I was kind of more along the lines of like, screw it, I'm just going to change it completely. Like, so, but then what my issue was that I was so in tune with mixing and kind of going for it that I didn't realize how much pastel I was actually mixing, which my idea in my head, like the placement was correct, but the amount of pastel that I used, that I mixed in with my colors, they came out more muted than they should have come out more vibrant. And when I saw it, I started freaking out, and I was like, oh my God, this is not what I wanted, because they were supposed to be a lot more vibrant. Because I've used the Formula 18 colors a lot. I mean, you've seen the work that I've done with them, but I didn't mix them the way that they should have been mixed. And like I said, I feel like that I should have stuck with my original plan. But instead I just kind of was so in tune that, as any hairstylist does or any artist in any industry does, you don't always stick to the plan. You kind of get so wrapped up into something that you're like, you know what, I'm just going to change it. It's an impulsive decision.
So that's when that's when the stress kind of started to happen for you, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And then when they started judging it, and then right before round 2, that's kind of where I started losing it a little bit.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, after that, something happened magical, because you pulled it off pretty hardcore. I think as far as anybody on the whole show so far, I think you were the one that pulled it out the hardest in the second round. And that was all about, thinking out of the box. So tell me what happened. You really did, I mean, I'm telling you, you really did fantastic in the second round. So
Thank
what
you.
were you thinking, and how did you pull it out? Let everybody know what you did, because I think that's a really good story.
I'm a very stubborn person, and
No, not you. Come on.
I'm very, very stubborn, and I'm very harsh, and I discipline myself a lot. So when somebody literally uses the words, "you are not good enough," it triggers. It's a trigger for me, and it bothered me. And I believe one of the judges, Alan, he said that, I see where you were going with this, but you're not good enough, or your work is not good enough. And instead of me being like, oh man, I'm not good enough, I'm kind of like, you want to test me right now? Okay, I'm going to show you. Like, I understand, like I said, I understand how my colors came out and how they were not the way that they should have been. But don't ever tell me that I am not good enough, because once you say that, then I'm going to prove wrong to you. Like, that's just something that should never be said to anybody. Like, especially like when you're working in a very aggressive and complicated scenario. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but you did it, man. You took that energy and you channeled it and you killed it. You did so amazing. I mean, even at the end, we were like, wow, man, she could have won this whole thing. It's just that the staining is really only the staining is what I think got the most points to that.
It wasn't, yeah, but that was the thing, is like, I understand the staining, but I also didn't care much about the staining because the way that the makeup was laid out with her was that her whole hairline and her ears and her neck were completely blacked out for a reason. So my biggest thing was, again, I get it. I get it as to what you're judging on and what you want to see and how you want to see it. You know, it's like you're doing hair and makeup as if you're doing it on a regular client. Like, I get it. So yeah, you can't have those mistakes of staining, or if your colors are too light, or so on and so forth. I get that. But at the same time, I knew in my mind that staining doesn't matter because my overall look, that's going to be covered anyway. Yeah. So like the other thing was, one of the things that they had mentioned in the beginning was when I was prepping her, she had all different colors of blonde running through her hair. She was not one solid platinum, and they didn't know what kind of color scheme I was doing. But again, if you've ever worked with direct dyes, as long as you're a level 9 or 10, it doesn't matter the consistency of the blonde, because you know what colors can go on what parts of the hair, even if it's an inconsistent lift. It's still going to come out vibrant, and it's still going to come out the way it's supposed to. And even, I believe Dennis had said that. He was like, oh, her color, her blondes are so inconsistent that she's not, I don't know what she's going to do to make that a lot better. And it's like, it doesn't matter what I'm going to do, because when you're covering the hair with direct dyes, it hides all of those inconsistent lifting of the hair. So again, it's like the same thing. So it's like, I the whole time was looking forward to the big picture rather than the little mistakes that I had made along the way. Yeah. Because I feel like that's what you need to look at in general. Yes, I get it. Like, there are little meticulous things that you need to be careful for and watch out for. But overall, you know, if you know that in your mind that those things just don't matter because what the overall look and the big picture that you're going for, and you can push through those things, then you shouldn't have a problem. Yeah. So that's kind of how I saw it.
A lot of the round one criterion is based on, obviously, technique, a lot about technique. And that's where they got you on technique points. But as far as overall look, oh my gosh, it's amazing. We love it. Everybody just loves that final look. I mean, it's all over what we do. I mean, really appreciate your great work. But unfortunately, in competition, you know, you get scored. Good question is for you. So what was the hardest pill? I mean, it's probably going to be what you already said. But what was your hardest pill to swallow regarding the judges and how they reacted to you? Was it
that comment?
That comment by Alan?
That comment. I mean, and that, for like something like that, like a comment like that, it hits more than it does just with hair, because, you know, I'm not trying to have like a sob story or whatever, but there have been times in my life that somebody has said to me, you are not good enough in specific things that you've done. And when somebody just says that to me in general, exactly, it's a trigger. But I've learned to overcome that feeling and to feel, instead of taking it and feeling it, I'm going to just push it right back in your face and say, okay, you think I'm not good enough? Well, I'm going to prove wrong to you. Because like I said, I'm so stubborn that I'm like, instead of taking that and just feeling it and being like, oh man, I'm not good enough, I'll never be good enough. No, I'm going to be the stubborn person and say, okay, test me, let's go. I'm going to show you what exactly I can do.
Yeah, and you did. You knocked it out of the park. So, you know, that's good. That's a good learning lesson to people, you know. You know, take it as criticism, take it as your energy, put fuel in your tank and go to the moon, right? Because, I mean, you took that and and the other thing people don't realize, I mean, you do, we do, is that you didn't have a makeup artist really. Like, Kay did a great job helping you, but...
Well, that's kind of where I started to get very discouraged, because it wasn't just about not having a makeup artist. It was the whole behind the scenes thing. So my makeup artist, for the people that don't know, my makeup artist canceled on me the day before. And obviously I'm not going to be able to find a makeup artist in less than 24 hours to come 2 hours across, you know, to Oceanside with me. Yeah. So one of the things that really discouraged me, it wasn't really the whole you're not good enough. It was more of the fact that behind the scenes while I was being introduced with my model, because I was the last one to be introduced, because everybody was like, oh, this is so-and-so with their makeup artist and so-and-so with their makeup artist. You know, everybody was laughing.
Yeah.
They were laughing at my disadvantage of not having a makeup artist, and that's what discouraged me the most. It was more so like, oh, well, this is Melissa with her model who doesn't have a makeup artist, and good luck with that. And then everybody starts laughing, and that really discouraged me, because even if it is a disadvantage, it shouldn't be laughed at.
Well, you know, and throughout this show, now that we see, you know, because that was, however, oftentimes people that did not have makeup artists actually won and did better. In fact, you did win that second round, even though you did not have a makeup artist. So that's the cool thing about the show. You never know what's going to happen. And that's what's so cool, that you could pull that thing out in the second round, even without a makeup artist.
Well, that was the thing why I had so much belief in my model and myself, because my model, you know, I chose her specifically because she's very beautiful. She's got beautiful, like, structure on her face, everything. But also her and I are in the same field of performing. She's also a performer, and she is a makeup artist as well, because she's a performer. And she also knows how to pose in front of a camera.
Sure did.
She's been doing it for a very long time. So not only did I want to find a model that could have, like, I could take her face and turn it into any style that I wanted, because she has that type of structure, but I also wanted to find one who wasn't shy in front of a camera, knows the exact type of face, like what to do and how to do it and how to pose. And because you can have an amazing model, you can have a beautiful, gorgeous person, doesn't matter who it is, beautiful, but when they get in front of a camera, they don't know how to act, and that is a big part of it. So I used her because I know that she knows how to work it in front of a camera in so many different ways. I mean, if we go back, I know that not everybody sees all the pictures that we took, but some of them are so elegant and beautiful, like with the way she's posing with the beads and everything. And then some of them are creepy and weird, and like, you're like, oh my God, her facial expressions, because she knows how to move.
Her range was just fantastic. I mean,
right.
I was just so impressed by her, because, I mean, well, and that's another question I have for you. So how important is model selection in your opinion?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
How important is model selection in your opinion?
It is very important. Again, you can have a gorgeous person and you can have everything that they want, but you have to know how to work it in front of a camera, on a runway, any of that sort. I mean, there are models out there who take classes on how to walk down a runway. It's the same thing. So if you have somebody who is just shy in front of a camera and doesn't know how to move, then your look isn't going to come together at all, because they're not going to know what to do. And, you know, it's like, yeah, you can direct them on what to do, but it's not just about body language. It's about their facial expressions. And modeling and being in front of something like that, it takes more than just like putting on a pretty face. You have to actually feel it. Yeah. And I'm so proud of her. Like, after we left, you know, we were talking about it in the car, and I was very upset when I left, because again, like, there were just some things that stuck to me when I left, but I kept telling her how amazing she did, how proud of her I was, because she literally, if it wasn't for her, like, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to do this competition, and I probably would have walked out in the middle of it. And I'm so thankful for her, because not only is she a great person, she's an amazing friend, and she literally just, she was phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. She was an amazing person. We loved it. And I mean, she's gotta love those images that you guys created together.
She was sorry, I got a call.
Oops.
She's like, I can't believe that's me. I said, I can. I was like, you are amazing. I mean, she's the type of person she is. She's a clown in real life. Like, she's an actual, like crazy flame and chain and grinder and like all the crazy shit she does on stage. Like, she's a performer. So I'm like, I believe that's you. I mean, like, it's a different realm of what you're used to being in, but that's you. And you're just so amazing. I mean, she's She loved it. She was very happy with it, and I mean, I was too.
We all are. We're very appreciative. I mean, when people see your work in that book, that's going to go, that book that, you know, we have your images in, that's a 200-page book now. And that book's going to go to the top 30,000 salons in the United States for, you know, their clients to be inspired by as a book, and it'll live on forever. And I just think you should be very proud of what you did, because you
How
got.
do I get that book?
I'm going to give you one. They're free.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
You know it. So, you know, I wanted to ask you another question is like, you know, there's people, the show's obviously going to be great. It's taking off already. There's people next season that are going to come on board. You know, since you're the pioneer, you're the first. You're the first. You know, you got the bragging rights there. What would you recommend as advice for those people? What's some of the best advice you can give them as far as competing next year?
I would probably say don't change your plan in the middle of working.
Yes.
Don't change it. Stick to the plan that you had, because if you change it, you're going to get even more discouraged than you already are. Also,
it doesn't stop. That's the thing.
I mean, here's the thing is that this type of show, any type of competitor show, of course, like, you know, all of us that competed, we're all friends. We all talk outside of it, whatever. But I understand that, like, for TV reasons, you want to see drama. You want to see intensity and build up and everything. And I get that. But at the same time, it's very hard for three people who know each other so well to be harsh towards one another or to be mean towards one another, because I get that's what you want. But even so, like, I will say that we had fun doing it. I mean, and don't, like, my other advice is not only don't change what you originally have planned, don't second guess yourself. Don't second guess yourself. Don't change what you have planned, and just believe in yourself as you're doing it, and don't let other people's negativity bring you down. Even though I get it's supposed to be a dramatic show, tune it out. I mean, really, you saw, like, in the show, like, because I actually, right before you called, I had just watched it because I don't have cable, and I've been working so much between both jobs that I haven't had time to watch it. So I watched it before you called, and in not one point in the show am I, like, having a mental breakdown or freaking out or yelling. Internally I was, but not externally. Like, I kept it so together, but
you're perfect.
Like, I'm not, that's me. I'm that type of person. I'm not a drama-filled person. I keep my head down and I work because I normally put my priority as my main focus. And my priority was to get her to be prepped and prepared to the way I wanted to see her and how I wanted everybody else to see her. So yeah, somebody could come over and say, oh, like, what are you doing? You're not good enough. Like, what are you mixing? Why are you mixing this? And instead, I'm just going to tune you out. And if I don't answer you, it's not because I'm trying to be rude. It's because I don't want to answer you, and I'm already focused on one thing. So stay focused. Don't second guess yourself. Believe in yourself. If you've been a hairstylist for as many years as however, just pretend or acknowledge the fact that no matter what anybody says, like, it shouldn't bring you down at all. You should just always believe in what you do. If hair and makeup and doing something like this is your passion, don't let anybody ruin it for you.
That's great advice, and you're right. Part of the game is, you know, getting in people's heads, I guess, you know? So yeah. That's part of it's called a challenge. You know, it's a competition. And, right. You know, like I say, I like what you said, because now that you watch the show, you see. I go, you guys, it's going to be different than what you think. In your head, you're seeing all this stuff. But in reality, I'm seeing some amazing work getting done. You know what I'm saying? And at the end, but in your head, you're hearing all this, right? I mean, what's going on in your head, right? Tell me, it's like your mind plays tricks on you, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's going on in my head is that, actually, you know what? I can't even tell you, because I don't even know. It's
so fast, huh?
It goes so fast that for me, like, I don't, like, yeah, I think about big picture, but I also think about what I'm doing in that exact moment and, like, how it could be done. Like, it's literally like an obstacle course. Like, You have to figure it out. It's a
Yeah.
puzzle, and you just have to figure it out for yourself. You can't have any
Do you
people
feel
doing
like
it. Like, it's different when you're at a salon and you can actually ask people at the salon, like, hey, I have a color correction and I need to know what would your take be on this, or how, like, what would you do with this? You can't do that on this show. You are literally for yourself. And even though I'm sure that if you ask somebody and it's behind the scenes, that somebody's going to help you, but at the same time, there's so much pride in people these days that they don't want the help, and they're not trying to ask for help, especially on a show like this. But it's just a whole different thing. You are in it for yourself, not for anybody else. Like, and you just have to remember that.
Well, what would you do differently then? I mean, you know, what would you have done differently, basically, based on all that? What do you think?
Probably her hair color.
Yeah.
I probably would
That's
change
what
her hair color.
You said it. I agree. Yes.
No, I would have, because I would have stuck to my original plan, and I wish I did that. Yeah, I mean, if going back to it and thinking about it, like, again, it was just a lot to deal with. It was definitely an experience because I've never done anything like that before. To be very honest with you, I'll probably never do like that anything again because it was such a stressful thing.
It is stressful. Yes.
And it takes a lot out of you to build up that type of courage to be on a show like that, where you're literally being judged by people who have been in the industry longer than you.
Yeah.
And there are people in this, like,
Melissa, like they've been in the industry longer than you've been alive.
right. And that's the thing, is that, like, there is no wrong way to doing hair. There's no wrong way to doing any type of artistry or any type of career that you're passionate about. Everybody does it differently. Everybody has their own thing about them that separates them from every other stylist or artist or whatever out there. So there is no wrong or right way. But when you have somebody coming up to you and saying that it's wrong, regardless of how many years that they've been in this industry, I would say don't let that bother you. And that's I feel like, you know, you got big names in front of you judging you. So that's why, for me, I'll probably, like I said, I don't think I'll ever do anything like this again, just because that I know that I'm good. I don't need somebody to judge me, to tell me that I'm not good enough, or to tell me that I could have done better. I gave it my best, and there were a few times that I did second guess myself that I wish I didn't. But again, you learn from it and you move forward. So that's my take on it.
I love it. That's great advice. Hey, do you feel like, as a hairdresser going through this, like, you know, challenging event, that it gave you insight in yourself in any way?
Yeah, it did, because, like I said, I would never, this isn't something I would ever agree to do, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it because it's something different, and it's something that I could just go back and be like, remember that time that I did this one thing that, like, you know, I just feel like that I figured out a lot about myself. I figured out a lot about my timing, about my technique, and so on and so forth. And I figured out a lot about how I perceive things. I mean, everybody perceived this show as to be something else, like cutthroat and super, like, in depth, and really it wasn't. It was more, everybody just, at the end of the day, got inside of their heads, which creates drama, which also creates anxiety for everybody. But realistically, at the end of the day, the only person that you're facing is yourself. So, you know, it does definitely give you a perspective on yourself, as well as the way that you work.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. That's exactly what I've seen throughout these 13 episodes. It's as though people didn't win the show, they didn't lose the show, if that makes sense to you.
No, there's no, again, it's like the same thing. There's no right and wrong, and there's no winners and there's no losers. The fact that you built up the courage to get on this show, to be judged in front of people, and to have millions of people watch you, that itself is a winning situation. You are already putting yourself as a winner. Whether you think that it was or wasn't your best work, you are putting yourself on the line, and you are challenging yourself, and to step out of that box and to be able to come to terms with it, that's already a winning situation, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. And I can't wait till everybody out there in all the salons see your work because it's incredible. You did a fantastic job. Hey, you know what they say about making sausage? Sometimes making sausage is not pretty, but when you make some great sausage, it tastes great, doesn't it? So,
Yeah.
I mean, if they would only see, the making of this, it's sausage being made. But at the end, it's this beautiful thing where we transform people, just like every day, right? Just like what we do every day as hairdressers, right? It's complicated. Right. Not everybody can do what we do. And I think you should be very proud of what you did. And you are fantastic. And I'm very happy that you took the time to be on the show. That's awesome right now, okay? And I don't say that unless I mean it. You know, you kind of know me a little. I don't get compliments unless they're real.
Yeah. No, I do appreciate it. I do. And I thank you for giving me like the opportunity to be a part of it. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, and I didn't really know how it was going to be in general. I'm glad I did it. Probably would never do it again. But again, it's a great learning experience for me and for anybody else who's watching. Yeah, so that's what I take from it. And honestly, I'm very proud of what I accomplished, regardless of how anybody else sees it, whether they think it's good or bad. I'm very proud of what I did that day. I'm proud of my own work, and I'm proud of my model for stepping it up and just being the best that she could have been. Yeah, that's.
Well, you're one of my personal favorites. Your finished look is one of my personal favorites out of the whole show, and I really, really respect what you did. So, I mean, that's just coming from me. And, you know, like I say, I think people are going to really enjoy watching you on the show. And like I say, now it's worldwide. It's on YouTube. So make sure to catch Melissa Maria, and she's going to show you what it's all about, right?